Perek Mem Vav. Perek Mem Vav is a whole new situation. Because it's a whole new ahava. Perek Vav is a new ahava. And you should know like this. We're going to have two more ahavas before the end of Tanya. Perek Mem Vav, and then a mitzvah Perek Nun. Perek Nun is the ahava, Tagberes Hagvuras Alach Sadim, Zav Ala Kesef. I would say, I don't know if I'm sure about this, but I would say that both of these ahavas, the ahava Perek Mem Vav and the ahava Perek Nun, are not ahava tivis. It's not a pshat that you're thinking about the Eibishter and revealing your neshama. But forget, you think about the Eibishter and you're bringing forward your emotions. It's a very interesting sugi that the Rebbe devotes so much attention to. What's the nikud of the sugi that we're about to read, Perek Mem Vav? The Rebbe calls it in his Rishimis, ahava, that the more you're far from the Eibishter, the more you should love him. Usually, ahava is the closer you are to the Eibishter, the more you should love him. Here it's going to be an ahava, that the more distant you are from Elokus, the ahava should be greater. Why? Because the Eibishter shows you favoritism and deference and special treatment, even though you don't deserve it. If the less you deserve it, the more it's a pelle. The fact is on the ahava aggressive. And Perek Nun is going to be the ahava of Tagber Sasav Kesef, which means how a ahava through its bonus, not an ahava tivis, could exceed an ahava tivis. Like I told you, the mashal. So let's read Perek Mem Vav. This is an ahava called Kamaim Aponim Leponim, and it's an ahava which a person is me'ated from distance. Forget, the less of a yid he is, the more he loves the Eibishter. There's another path before a man, which was derech yosher, a straight path. You should know, good medayis, what's mean derech yosher, which is also shav l'chol nefesh. It's equal to all souls. Now, boys, the lashon shav l'chol nefesh was on top of page Samach Gimel, almost in the exact same spot in the page. Look on page Samach Gimel Amud Aleph. The first line on the top, you have shav l'chol nefesh. Here you again have shav l'chol nefesh. Now, it seems to me the pattern that shav l'chol nefesh is when you have an avas tivis. He says shav l'chol nefesh. Avar through seichel, every person is different. Avar that's to do with the neshama, shav l'chol nefesh. Here we also call the shav l'chol nefesh, but I'm not sure if it's an avas tivis or not. Because if Adav made me aid, and it's near to a person very, very, very much. La'eda, to awaken, or l'hoid, and to bring light. Of aid, ha'ahava, the light of law, hatkua, which is planted. Umusuteres, and is concealed, believe in a person's heart. Le'yeis me'ira, that it should radiate and shine, betake, if aida, with the power of its light. Ke'eish be'era, like a fire which is flaming and burning. Be'izgalos, le'biyomech, in a way that's revealed in the heart and in the mind. That it should affect, that the Eitzah should be limbs and nafshel Hashem v'gufa yom eidei, to sacrifice that Eibishter your soul and your body and your possessions. B'chol leiv v'b'chol nefesh u'miyet b'chol levavcha b'chol nafesh b'chol meidecha be'umkat leib from the depths of one's heart be'emes lamiti, in absolute truth. And of course it says what I said before was wrong. There is an ava tivis, and I was wrong. It's an ava tivis which a yid could be made, and it's a derech yosher shavel l'chol nefesh. This ahava can especially be evoked when one is saying Shema, and its brachas k'meishi is bad, is going to explain, and bepashtas explain means the end of Perek Mem Vav, and be'iki is Perek Mem Zayin. V'hu, what is this ahava? Kasha yosem el libe, a person will apply to his heart, masha melak kosa, the pasuk says. Kamayim aponim leponim, just like the face that looks into the water is mirrored by the water, right? The water will show back, will reflect the face that looks into it. Same is true. The heart of man is mirrored by the heart of his fellow. When you feel love towards somebody else, they cannot help but feel love towards you. Pirush. Just like the likeness and the countenance of the face. That a person shows to the water. The water is going to give him back the exact same form. The same is also true in Ruchnistic terms. That leiv ha'adam, the heart of a person, ha'ne'eman, that is loyal. Let's say translate ne'eman. Be'ahavas elishach, is love to another fellow. Ha'ahavazu, when one person genuinely and sincerely loves his fellow, it's made it. It's ahava b'leiv chaveri love. Gamke. It arouses a love from his fellow to him as well. Yes, evim ne'eman of zealous, to be loyal friends to one another. Befrat, and especially love, when he sees how much that other person loves him, he cannot help but love him back. I remember that during Pashas Hasfarim, the Rebbe was so upset. Hat der Rebbe jemand ausgedrückt, ich verstehe nicht, wie sehr hat mir feind. Steht Kamaim upon him came levad. Ich habe ihm lieb. I wasn't here, but I heard Chazara. His nephew, says the Rebbe, V'hinei, Zehu ha-tava ha-nog, we meet as kol. This is normal in two people who even on the same madreg. Now think about this. Afim shneim shavim b'mayla. They're the same level. And when one loves Reuven, loves Shimon, Shimon cannot help but love Reuven. Dr. Halach has come much more so. If a great and expansive king His mad will show his great and intense love. Leish to a person that is hedyet ordinary, v'nivze and shameful, v'shafal and shvalanoshim and a lowly man, u'manuval and he's filthy, hamutal ba'ashpa that lays in filth. Yea, the love of him came kved, and the king descends to that person from his place of honor. Him calls son of Yachta with all of his officers as one. Umarkime, umarime miashpase, lifts him up, and he stands him up and lifts him up from his filth. Umachnis elechal, brings him into his palace. Heichal HaMelech, which is the royal chambers of the king himself, a room within a room, until he brings him to Makim, such a place, she'ein kol eved v'sar, neither slaves nor officers are allowed to go in over there. This lashon eved v'sar reminds me of the Gemara. And the Gemara says that there was Rabbi Chanina ben Deise and there was Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai. Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai was on a higher madregi than Rabbi Chanina ben Deise. And for that sake, Rabbi Chanina ben Deise's tefillas were answered more than Rabbi Chanina ben Deise. So the Gemara says that Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai was kesar l'fnei HaMelech, and Rabbi Chanina ben Deise was ke'eved l'fnei HaMelech. What's the difference? A sar is important, but he never sees the king in his pajamas. When he meets the king looks like the king. The eved is a shamish pashat. So he goes into the king in his pajamas, middle of the night and middle of the day. So Chanina ben Deise pashat was ayle b'lei bar. He went whenever he wanted, because he was like an eved l'fnei HaMelech. So this is a place that ain't called eved v'sar nechtas l'sham. Not only the Sodom are not going into such places, even the Avodim are not going into such places. He unifies himself with him with a union and a closeness which is real, true. V'chibuk, and he hugs him. V'nishuk, and he kisses him. And he joins his spirit with his spirit. With his heart and all of his soul. Now boys, you have to remember, every detail of this marshal, every one of these has a nimshal. The Rebbe and Tanya doesn't tell them all of you, but you would count. How many details are there in this marshal? First of all, the way he describes the poor person. Hedyet, nivze, shvalanoshim, menuvel. Everything is an inyan pnimi, and it has an equal in the nimshal. Right? When he talks about the person, he goes from hedyet, nivze, shvalanoshim, menuvel, mutal ba'ashpa. Then he uses the lashon mekime umarime. Then you have cheder lefnei mecheder. Misyachad imesham b'yichud v'kirev amiti. Then he uses two lashonos chibuk. Then you have chibuk. Then you have nishuk. Then you have zdabkas rucha baruch. And chibuk and nishuk, the Alter Rebbe explained himself Perek Mem Vav, Perek Mem Hey, and he's going to explain it later on the next shir. That chibuk is mitzvahs, and nishuk is teira. And it's zdabkas rucha baruch. That I told you yesterday at the end, the idea of a mistalkus b'yikar de malka. When you're looking at a lakus, teira is kissing the Eibishter. Mitzvahs is hugging the Eibishter, experiencing a lakus. This is this dabkas rucha barucha. This everything. This is Tanya. This is teira shebeksav. The Alter Rebbe is not being poetic over here. Says the Rebbe, Allah has come how much more so. Shetis aid and memela would all automatically arouse ha'ahava, the love from this person, and uses lashon kful u'mechubel as doubled and redoubled. And you had in Tanya Perek Lamed Gimel kful u'mechubel, which means 4 times. There is 4 starkheit and 4 intensities. Each one is doubled and redoubled, right? Remember we discussed it in Perek Lamed Gimel. So the Rebbe here is mitzayin to his notes over there. In the heart of the ordinary and the lowly people, El nefesh hamelech, to the soul of the king, Be'eskashus nefesh mamish, with the attachedness of the soul mamish, Mileva nefesh, with all of his heart and all of his soul, Me'umkudalib, from the depths of his heart, Le'in kesh, without an end. Even if this person has a heart like stone, you cannot help yourself. Himes, melt, it will melt. It'll become like water. And this person's soul will spill out kemayim, like water, bakalesa nefesh mamish, with an expression of his soul mamish, ba'avas hamelech, in his love for the king. This is a very pashute starke marshal. And the diuk that the Rebbe brings over here is what's unusual about this ahava, is that this ahava is punkt vaket. The less you're worthy of the Eibush, this ahava, the more you should have the Seder's from this ahava.